This week, the U.S. marked a morbid pandemic milestone. Johns Hopkins University reports the number of Americans who have died from COVID-19 is now more than 602,000.
Those numbers continue to grow and impact local funeral homes that are now working with families who couldn't hold services during COVID lockdowns. ABC 27's Angela Green has that story.
When someone's going through something like that, the first thing most people want to do is give them a big hug.
In the beginning of the COVID pandemic, how we provided comfort during grieving times changed with social distancing and bans on big gatherings. Funerals came to a halt and turned to graveside services.
With everything we saw with COVID, that just simply wasn't possible.
So far, more than 58,500 people in both Georgia and Florida have died from COVID-19. John Ricco, executive director of the Florida Cemetery, Cremation and Funeral Association, says that number of deaths grew so fast, funeral homes were scrambling to keep up.
Just like you saw with hospitals and medical examiners and all types of medical professionals, funeral homes experienced the same influx in terms of the numbers of families they had to serve.
At Strong & Jones Funeral Home in Tallahassee, staff worked longer days and had to take extra precautions in how they operate.
We're just like first responders because we come on the scene and we have to deal with the bodies just like anyone else has to deal with them. And then, like I said, if not in more detail with them.
Thomas Griffin Jr. has served as a funeral home director and embalmer for more than 2 decades. He relates the changes in the industry to concerns that were in place during the early stages of the AIDS crisis.
Because you just don't know what you're up against.
While PPE was crucial for healthcare workers to stay protected against the virus, Griffin says funeral home workers also had to protect themselves to enter both medical and long-term care facilities to remove bodies and get them ready for burial.
Should we embalm or should we just leave the body and just do direct burial? Because nobody could tell us.
The uncertainty also forced general managers like Fiona Nicholson to move fast and make upgrades to their facilities, adding space for social distancing and more virtual options for services.
We've had families in the parking lot watch it.
Nicholson says they made a huge investment in special cameras and microphones to upload services online for families that couldn't travel. It's an option that will stay in place beyond the pandemic.
I think that families find that it's much more convenient for them to have the virtual arrangement. They can do it from the comfort of their home.
Both Griffin and Nicholson say many families prepaid for funeral services before the pandemic and their packages still have to be honored. They're now working to help plan memorial services and celebrations of life so families and friends can finally and properly say goodbye to those we lost due to COVID-19. In Tallahassee, Angela Green, ABC 27.